aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you.
Some people think it's crazy to drive a car over 200 miles an hour. But I'll tell you what crazy is. Crazy's driving any car when you've had too much to drink. So please, don't drink and drive.
A reminder from Budweiser. Relive the thrilling and agonizing moments of 3 decades of ABC's Wide World of Sports in this exclusive video collection, premiering with the 1960s and continuing through the 70s and the 80s. This is the best of ABC's Wide World of Sports, available now wherever video cassettes are sold. This is the best of ABC's Wide World of Sports on video cassette, beginning with the 1960s, and Jim McKay was there at the start.
Sports, in its unending variety, unfolds on ABC's Wide World of Sports, capturing the sight and sound, the emotion, the beauty and history-making achievements wherever men gather to compete in this great wide world of athletics.
There was triumph for some athletes. Jim Ryan.
He's gonna make it! He's gonna run the first 4-minute mile!
It looks like he made it, unofficially, 3:58.6.
Valerie Brumell. Arnold Palmer at the British Open.
Par 4 and break the record by a shot. Hello?
And he made it. Great putts on the final hole as Arnold Palmer breaks the record for the British Open.
Chuck McKinley at Wimbledon.
Yes, Chuck McKinley was the first American man to win since 1955, and no American would win.
For others, there was agony.
Oh, Yarborough right out of the racetrack.
Did you see the punch? Did you see it?
Hitting the wall, bouncing back across the straightaway. Boy, it's only got a couple hundred yards.
Great wave as it sends Chuck Sutherland plummeting into the air.
And Wide World continued into their second decade, the 70s.
Spanning the globe to bring you the constant variety of sport, the thrill of victory, and the agony of defeat. The human drama of athletic competition. This is ABC's Wide World of Sports.
There were more triumphs in the 70s. Some of the biggest names in sports from around the world, including Pele of Brazil, Olga Korbut of the Soviet Union,
No margin for error. Back some he catch. He did it again.
Arnold Schwarzenegger of Austria,
And what a physique he has.
Vasily Alexeyev of the Soviet Union,
He has the clean. He has it if he can hold it. He does. Alexeyev of Russia.
and the 70s had its share of agony.
Look at that. Wow. What a crash, Pete. I don't think I've ever seen one this bad.
He's down and he is hurt. Oh, big rubbery-legged and hurt. And Plummet is... Oh!
Vinko Bogota's agony would become Wide World's most memorable.
Oh, baby.
And Wide World captured the thrills and agonies of yet another decade, the 80s.
Spanning the globe to bring you the constant variety of sport, the thrill of victory, and the agony of defeat. The human drama of athletic competition. This is ABC's Wide World of Sport.
Sugar Ray Leonard and Roberto Duran,
Now, Leonard is in trouble. That is the one.
Mary Lou Retton,
Totally run front. Round off side aerial.
If you're lucky, you get
the 80s provided still more agony.
Schrader into the pack. Kent goes out with him. Allison wins the race. Baker is second. Uppercut, and Marvis is hurt. Razor is down.
relive the thrilling and agonizing moments of 3 decades of ABC's Wide World of Sports in this exclusive video collection, premiering with the 1960s and continuing through the 70s and the 80s. This is the best of ABC's Wide World of Sports, available now wherever video cassettes are sold.
I shall resign the presidency effective at noon tomorrow.
I, Gerald R. Ford, President, do grant a full, free, and absolute pardon unto Richard Nixon.
We ought not to be a welfare nation. We ought to be a nation where people who want to work have a chance to work.
Hello, I'm Jim McKay. The 70s were a decade that dazzled and confused us. They were a time of tragedy and disillusionment from Kent State to Richard Nixon, but a time of hope also, with moments like the Camp David Accords between Egypt and Israel. It was a time when television, and particularly televised sports, grew bigger, more spectacular, more a part of every American's life. By at times, they even grew more mature. Satellite coverage brought us all the wide world live, and Wide World of Sports grew too. But we still focused on the unchanging fascination of the individual human being in action, on the spot, with no place to hide. We saw them on our program every week, on the day's event, and even on our opening sequence.
Spanning the globe to bring you the constant variety of sport, the thrill of victory, and the agony of defeat. The human drama of athletic competition. This is ABC's Wide World of Sports.
They call him King Richard Petty, but one day in Daytona Beach, the king almost lost his crown.
There's been a crash on the home stretch, a car upside down.
And that's
a
Richard
blue
Petty.
car, it is Richard Petty.
Petty's terrible crash had everyone fearing the worst. The car had landed upside down. The driver's upper body was hanging outside the window, but afterwards, he was pretty cool.
I really got too high in the 3 and 4 corner, and when I did, I got out of the groove up too high, and when I tried to get back onto the track, I ran into the wall, and when it did, it ricocheted to the inside guardrail, and then it knocked me out, and I didn't know anything in until they started getting me out of the car. It was really the first time that I've ever ended up upside down. Most of the time I was lucky enough to wind up on the side or something like that. So probably I've tore up cars a lot worse than this, but I can't say that I've ever hit any harder than I did this time.
At the 1970 World Gymnastics Championships, little Kathy Rigby, her blonde pigtails set perfectly in place, set out to become the first American to win a medal at the World Championships.
A difficult one-arm walkover.
On the victory platform, the official announcement was made. With her silver medal, Kathy Rigby had become the first American ever to win a medal of any kind at the World Gymnastics Championships. Truly a breakthrough and one of the more spectacular feats we've seen on Wide World of Sports. At the 1970 Indianapolis 500, Al Unser, who eventually would win the great race 4 times, first made his mark at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
And there you see the white flag. That means one lap for the leader, one lap for Al Unser. 3 Unser brothers have raced here in Indianapolis. One, Jerry, was killed in an accident in the late 50s. Bobby Unser won the race 2 years ago. And now by completing this lap, Al, who celebrated his 31st birthday just yesterday, can complete the first brother act in victory at Indianapolis.
Al Unser of Albuquerque on his way to the first of the 4 Indianapolis victories he would accumulate by the end of the 1980s.
The crowd of more than 300,000 on their feet now, paying tribute to the apparent victor. There's the checkered flag. He takes it, and it's all over. Al Unser has won the 1970 Indianapolis 500.
4 letters suffice to identify this man to the world of soccer, Pelé. By that single name, he was known from Pernambuco to Paris, Nairobi to Naples, and all stops in between. After helping win 2 World Cups for Brazil, he was battered by opponents in the 1966 World Competition and almost retired. But he came back 4 years later to notch the following achievements: 6 goals in 6 games and this header that put his team ahead to stay in the final against Italy. There have been few like him, ever. In 1970, at a ski jumping competition in Germany, we found a man whose image would endure on our program's opening segment, not for months, but for decades, and probably as long as Wide World stays on the air. His name is Vinko Bogataj of Yugoslavia, and he was not a champion, but a spectacular loser that day in 1970. He epitomized then and now not the thrill of victory, but for all time, the agony of defeat.
Now we go to Vinko Bogataj, the Yugoslavian, the youngster. His inexperience, he fell on his first jump.
A lot of speed in that track. Now, look at him go! Oh! Oh, baby.
What a terrible fall.
Vinko Bogataj in New York for the 20th anniversary of Wide World of Sports was a celebrity by the strangest of circumstances, proving, as he says, that defeat lasts only a moment, not a lifetime.
The climactic moment for the NHRA National, Don Prudhomme, the Snake from Granada Hills, California. Jim Nickel, experienced veteran from Spring Valley, California. They're as high right now as they can possibly be for a golden moment in drag racing. The highest payoff ever for the top fuel dragsters. Nichols off first.
Side by side and beautiful.
Oh, my God. That is Jim Nichols' car. Jim Nichols' car has literally been sawed in half. The front end of it has skidded all the way down to the run-out area.
Let's go down there.
Prudhomme braking heavily, his parachute behind him. But Nichols' car, cut in half, there is the driver's cage. It caromed at least 350 feet down the track and bounced over into the grass. Don Prudhomme climbing out of his car. Don Prudhomme appeared to be all right. He is now climbing out of his fire suit.
You're all right. I think I'm quit. Oh my God, I seen that car go by me. I couldn't believe it. There was no there's no back section on it or nothing.
Don Prudhomme in his anguish right now, not at all concerned with the fact that he won his second successive championship. That's the front end of Jim Nichols' car that came all the way to the end of the run-out area. And we understand that Jim Nichols was conscious when taken out of the roll cage and put in the ambulance, now on the way to the hospital. But he's all right. That's marvelous news, incredible news, considering the extent of the accident. And here's the finish, how terribly close it was. Prudhomme winning by a yard. 3/100ths of a second at 231 miles an hour.
On April 28, 1967, the heavyweight champion of the world, Muhammad Ali, refused induction into the Army. precipitating a 3-year exile from the sport. But to the champ, the reasons were clear.
Whatever the punishment, whatever the persecution is for standing up for my religious beliefs, even if it means facing machine gun fire that day, I will face it before denouncing Elijah Muhammad and the religion of Islam. I'm ready to die.
Ali, of course, never had to betray his beliefs. He was vindicated by the Supreme Court of the United States. Stripped of his title, though, he took to the comeback trail. On March 8, 1971, he met the new champion, Joe Frazier, in an historic battle of unbeaten heavyweights. Ali was knocked down by a powerful Frazier left hook in the 15th round and suffered the first loss of his professional boxing career. The Ali legend had been dented, but there were still many chapters left in the great story of the young man from Louisville, Muhammad Ali. At the Daytona 500 stock car race in 1971, auto racing fans and a wide world audience witnessed a violent crash that would not be easy to forget.
And A.J. Foyt now slingshots his way back into the lead. Foyt is lead. Baker is moving up. The challenge for second place up on turn 2. We've got a wreck. Look at that. Wow.
What a crash, Keith. I don't think I've ever seen one this bad.
Car number 60, Maynard Troyer, 32-year-old rookie from Spencerport, New York, flipped an incredible number of times, but I think perhaps the fact that the car remained remarkably intact is quite a story in itself.
Troyer unbelievably walked away with just a headache.
You're looking at 16-year-old Chrissy Everett from St. Thomas Aquinas High School in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, who all this week captivated the entire nation by the excellence of her play in the U.S. Open tennis tournament. And at the beginning, Chrissy, because you had to take the court against so great a one as Billie Jean King, tell us exactly what your feelings were as you were warming up before the match.
When I was warming up, I was, kind of studying her game. And she, I really thought she played a great match. She's just too powerful, and her game is just so developed. Her game is much more developed than my game. And I thought, well, if I get 5 or 6 games, I'd be really happy. Just so I play a good match against her. And as it turned out, she just played great, and she never let up, and that's why she beat me.
As a matter of fact, Chrissy, all week everybody was talking about the pressures on the little 16-year-old. Tell us, did you really feel any pressure?
No, I didn't feel any pressure at all, because I thought, well, during this tournament I'm going to be playing the best in the world, so this is my first 4 sales. I have nothing to lose, and they have everything to lose.
Janet Lynn never won a world or Olympic gold medal, but her free skating and her personality won her the love of crowds everywhere, as here in Lyon, France, where she would finish 4th. Janet Lynn, they loved her in Lyon as they did back home in Rockford, Illinois.
No man has ever lifted 500 pounds in competition. Alexiev has the chance to do it now, 1/4 of a ton. Look at the concentration on that face. This would also equal his own world record for overall total weight, 1,350 1/4 pounds. But now, the big thing, can he become the first man to lift 1/4 of a ton, 500 pounds? He has the clean. He has it if he can hold it. He does. Alexiev of Russia has just lifted 501.5 pounds. The first man ever in competition to lift over 500 pounds.
Vasily Alexiev. The name is synonymous with weightlifting. Who would have believed when Wide World began that we would one day visit Castro's Cuba? After all, that was a time of great tension. Just 12 days before our series began was the Bay of Pigs invasion. Yet a decade later, we were there for a volleyball match. The U.S.-Cuba winner would qualify for the Olympics. The young Peter Jennings was reporting.
Out of bounds on the American side. The Americans have won the serve. 14-8 for the Cubans. Match point. Larry Rundle trying to settle his team down. The front line. Duncan, Randy Shaw, McPherson. In the back, Smitty Duke going to make this all-important serve. The Cubans win it back again, and there goes up that one finger again. No way you could have stopped that ball. Driven hard at the American front line, bounced out of bounds. Once again, match point. There's the Cuban serve.
Later, Peter asked Fidel Castro if he was pleased with the progress of Cuba's athletic program, and the premier ended up translating the translator.
This is the director of the International Cuban...
Not satisfied with the succeed.
You were not satisfied? This is the director of the Cuban Sports Federation. Can you tell me what Comandante said? No, he never forgets. Can you tell me what the Comandante said?
Dice, el comandante dice que él cree... English.
Who would have believed in 1961 that one day Wide World would go to the People's Republic of China? And yet that happened too. 10 years to the day, in fact, from the Bay of Pigs invasion, we showed films from communist China. Table tennis. An American team talked to us live from a studio in Tokyo and showed us their films, including their visit to the Great Wall of China. Ping-pong diplomacy, they called it. NASCAR stock cars have been built with a tank-like construction, and this 1972 crash pays testimony to that. Here, Walter Ballard tangled with Buddy Baker at Daytona Beach. Had this been an ordinary car, this crash might have meant serious injury or even death. But Ballard walked away. He burned his hands getting out of the car and got his eyes full of dirt. And that's all. Walter Ballard raced again within a week and raced this car again shortly thereafter. In Calgary, figure skater Dorothy Hamill introduced herself to the world and left the distinct impression that this wouldn't be the last we'd hear of the Riverside, Connecticut girl.
So far, she's skating an absolutely perfect program. There hasn't been a single mistake so far. Look at this delayed axle into a back spiral. Here for her final move, a very, very difficult combination spin, a flying camel. Now watch her drop over into a back sit spin right there. And a beautiful back sit spin, change forward sit spin on top of it.
"15-year-old Dorothy Hamill of the United States, making her first appearance in the World Figure Skating Championship."
It was the international beginning of a career that would reach its climax in the 1976 Olympics. At the 1968 Olympics, Mark Spitz had earned 4 medals. Now in the 72 Olympic trials, he was gearing up for one of the greatest performances in Olympic history.
It's a good start.
Mark Spitz got a very good glide through the water, and you're right, he's swimming with great confidence now. I've never seen him swim so well before. He's stretching out, he's nice and loose, and he's going out for a record, I think.
Record breaking has become almost a weekly habit with Mark Spitz.
When you get down to these sort of times, the turn is all important. He had to reach for it a little bit, but it was a pretty good one. He got the best of the turn, I think.
In the preliminaries, Mark has the pending world and American record, 54.68. And Mark Spitz, swimming in lane number 4, has the lead. In lane number 3, Ross Wales staying with him. In lane number 5, Dave Edgar. Now Edgar beginning to slip off a little bit. In lane number 7, it's Jerry Heidenreich coming hard. Heidenreich in lane number 7. It is Mark Spitz in lane number 4, and Spitz is going to win it easily.
And that was not all he would win easily. At the Munich Olympics later that summer, Mark Spitz of California earned 7 gold medals, and each of them in record-setting time. Former Olympic champion George Foreman took on the heavyweight champion Joe Frazier.
Now Joe is coming out at him, wants to come back in a hurry. You'll not find a gamer man than Joe Frazier. Joe Frazier, who went down 3 times in the first round. A caution from Arthur Mercani. Oh, he is all over Frazier again. He has Frazier in the corner. Frazier's knees buckled. He is down. He is down for the 4th time in the fight. George Foreman is doing to Joe Frazier what he did as a 19-year-old to a veteran Russian, a fellow named Ioannis Shapoulis, in October of 1968 in the Mexico City Arena. A quick left from George. Another. Frazier is down for the 5th time in this fight. 5th time. 3 times in the first round, twice in the second. McCartney checked his senses, checked Frazier's senses. It's target practice for George Foreman. It is target practice. Frazier is ready to go again. Joe is standing. There he goes. 3 times. 3 times. The fight is stopped.
Frazier had told reporters before the fight that he wouldn't even need to break a sweat. In defeat instead of victory, he was almost right.
Olga Korbut.
The scene is Madison Square Garden in New York. The famous arena is filled to capacity, spectators straining for an in-person look at this tiny girl from a faraway land. Her name is Olga Korbut of the Soviet Union, and you must remember how she burst on the world at the Olympics, doing things on the slender balance beam that made you hold your breath. On the uneven bars, she did maneuvers never seen in a championship before. And in the floor exercises, she was like a happy, talented child playing in the sun. I asked her in Munich what she would like most to see in America.
Вообще не знаю, но я бы очень хотела побывать в Нью-Йорке.
I simply don't know. I really can't tell I would like to see, but what I would like to see probably was New York.
She wanted to see New York, and now on this early spring weekend, she is here.
Olga, have you heard very much American music? And if you have, is there any one song that you remember that you liked?
Yes.
Да. Какая? Ты слышала много американской музыки? Какая из песен тебе особенно нравится? Какую из песен ты особенно любишь?
Я не знаю, вот поет Тейлор.
Taylor is your favorite singer.
James Taylor?
James Taylor.
Yeah, yeah. Any particular song?
Какая-нибудь песня?
Мне подарил пластинку. Снимали фильм сейчас в Гродно. Он мне подарил пластинку. Мне очень нравится одна песня, я не знаю, как она называется, но что-то вот есть в ней что-то. Close your eyes and soon. Он мне так нравится очень.
She doesn't know the name of the song, but
enough.
here is the song.
That's very good.
The kids love her. You can hear those childish voices above the adult cheers.
Jim, I must be honest, it gives me chills up my spine to think of watching her again. The most exciting performer ever.
Same routine as that Monday
All right,
night.
now
in
here
Munich.
it comes. No margin for error. Back Summy catch. She did it again. And watch this free drop into a hip circle. There's just no let up in this exercise. Pivot, stomach whip, drop kip, and the dismount.
Little Olga Korbut. She moved gymnastics a giant step forward and taught New York about détente. An ex-Marine, Ken Norton, broke Muhammad Ali's jaw and saddled him with only the second defeat of his career. Howard Cosell reported on 12th round action.
Ali is tired. Ali is really tired. And he was just laughing at a party last night and joking. Now, good right fight, but that right hurt Muhammad Ali. That right hurt Ali. It got in there, and there's blood in Ali's mouth, too. Norton is all over. Norton is the one with the fight left in him. The countdown to the end of the fight. Ali's mouth is bloody. The left gets in, and a good right. He is all over Ali. He is punching him around the ring. One could believe in miracles. Norton himself is tired. You just saw him groping for breath against the ropes, but he knows what he's doing here. Maybe there is something in hypnotism because it's worked for Kenny Norton today.
Referee, Frank Rustich. 7 points Norton, 5 points Ali.
There it is! There it is! One of the greatest upsets again in boxing history.
Ali, now in the unaccustomed role of being at a loss for words, sought his revenge in Los Angeles less than 6 months later. Ali was out to prove he still had the skills of a legitimate contender for George Foreman's title. But it was not an overpowering performance. He needed the final round for the win, and he took it, earning the split decision. Rodnina and Zaitsev, one of the finest pair skating teams in history, gave an unprecedented performance in Czechoslovakia in 1973.
And I believe so.
something has happened. Their music has stopped. They must be on a tape, and the tape must have broken. Of course, it's not necessary for them to continue skating, but they have chosen to do so. And the audience is going out of its mind here. I believe that the referee could allow them to stop and continue or to skate over again, whichever they wish to do.
Now the crowd just roaring and chanting and cheering.
And of course the difficulty, the enormous difficulty, is what are the judges going to do? How can they judge it from the point of view of the interpretation of the music? I would not want to be a judge on this event.
There for a moment on the sidelines, you saw the somewhat confused officials. They're talking to their colleagues on telephones. They're chattering.
And here they are with their last move. Here it is, a split, twist, and that's the end of the program.
Rovnina and Zaitsev performing like the champions they were, winning that night in Bratislava. We also saw Triple Crown winner Secretariat in a special invitational race. Chris Schenkel was reporting with the horse's owner Penny Tweedy and trainer Lucian Lauren.
Penny, your champion now, is headed toward the half-mile pole, and he's drawn away to about a 4-length lead.
Oh, listen, that's scary. Look at that next horse moving. Come on, big boy, get going.
Yes, he is not really drawn clear, has he?
No.
The number 4 horse, 9 Gallant, is running second. Our Native is third, and Blue Chip Dan is out of the race.
Look at that horse. He's really moving up on him. Come on, Secretary.
My Gallant is a son of Gallant Man, and now Our Native, who was third to this horse in 2 races, 2 of the Triple Crown, but Secretariat is out there. He has a furlong to go. Secretariat leading by enough margin to win this race. It's a race of Chicago fans. Secretariat. Now the battle is for second. Secretariat the winner.
Secretariat, a champion of legendary proportions who later that year took part in his final race as a 3-year-old on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Austria, welcome to our stage, please, Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Here we have Arnold Schwarzenegger, 22 years of age, now living in Los Angeles. A few days ago in London, he won the Mr. Universe competition. Here he is trying to put back-to-back 2 great physique titles. This one for Mr. World. He's the challenger to Sergio Oliva. Weighs almost 230 pounds. He's known to have a very, very heavy upper body, as we can see here. Might notice the muscle highlights as he pumps himself up by having blood rush to those muscles.
Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
And the winner, the challenger, coming into this competition. What a big day for this youngster from Austria, Arnold Schwarzenegger. And what a physique he has.
We'd hear more from Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know, we've talked a lot about the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat on ABC's Wide World of Sports. But on one August day in 1973, in Zandvoort, the Netherlands, the two came together in one unforgettable race for auto racing's great Jackie Stewart. Stewart started in the middle of the first row, but the Brazilian, who crashed in practice, was far back in the field. He was to drop out on the second lap because of intense pain in the foot he injured in the crash. From the standing start, Ronnie Peterson, Fittipaldi's teammate, took the lead, with Stewart just behind in second place. It was to be, in the end, another day of victory for little Jackie. But before that, there would be tragedy on the circuit through the sand dunes of Holland. On the 8th lap, 25-year-old Roger Williamson, an Englishman driving in only his second Grand Prix, crashed. The car turned upside down. Immediately, his good friend, David Purley, driving just behind him, stopped, leaped from his car, and ran to try and rescue the trapped driver. Purley said later that Williamson was moving when he reached the car, trying to undo his harness and reach the onboard fire extinguisher. But he couldn't do it. Purley, looking for some way to help, trying to push the car over. Officials came. Were unable to help. He saw a man with a fire extinguisher standing immobile, grabbed it from him, as you see, and now tries to work it himself. A lone rescuer, a race driver, turned fireman, trying to rescue his friend from death. A picture of anguish, frustration, and heartbreak. He knew his friend was dead. The race went on.
Jackie Stewart was the winner eventually, thereby breaking Jim Clark's all-time record by winning his 26th Grand Prix. But the record was overshadowed by the tragedy.
With Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier set to fight for a second time, they joined Howard Cosell to analyze their 1971 meeting. But some of the animosities from the ring spilled out onto the studio floor that day.
Well, that's when he went in the hospital now.
Remember? Joe, don't talk about no hospital. You know you're wrong bringing up a hospital. I ain't gonna say nothing about no hospital.
We don't want to mention.
I went to hospital for 10 minutes. You went for a month. Now be quiet.
I was resting.
Yeah, you went to hospital arrest.
In and out.
That's embarrassing. Don't nobody go to hospital arrest. And why did you bring? I wasn't gonna bring up the hospital. That shows you how dumb you are. How come people don't go in the hospital? That shows how dumb you are.
How come people?
He brought up the hospital.
Who don't go
What's this? What was happening there, Joe?
I go to the hospital for 10 minutes.
Motion to Arthur McCann.
He go for a month. Why did he bring that up?
What was happening?
I really don't know.
He didn't have to
I'm
tell
trying to listen to this cat saying about something.
He gonna bring up the hospital. What difference? Why'd you bring up the hospital? I went to the hospital for 10 minutes.
Why you think I'm ignorant?
I went to the hospital for 10 minutes.
Why you think I'm ignorant?
Man, you know, sit down.
Sit down, man.
Sit down, Joe.
Why you think I'm ignorant?
Sit down, Joe.
Huh?
Sit down quick.
Why you think I'm ignorant?
The brothers are here.
You doing this too?
No. Sit down quick, Joe.
Well, we're having a scene, as you can see, and it's hard to tell whether it's clowning or for real between the two fighters. This kind of thing has been going on all along in terms of promotion of the fight, and this time it seems to be for real, because Joe Frazier is really angry. Muhammad called him ignorant, and he's really angry. I don't think this one is clowning at all.
And so the stage was definitely set for Ali versus Frazier #2. Ali kept Frazier at a distance with the famous jab. Then he moved more than he had in their first meeting. Eventually, Muhammad was awarded a unanimous decision over Smokin' Joe. Meanwhile, the champion, George Foreman, continued his stunning destruction of the heavyweight division. He did it with this second-round knockout of challenger Ken Norton.
Oh, that's farting right. Got to Norton and has him really back. Oh, there's the right again. And Foreman punched him as he went against the ropes. Rondeau is calling it a knockdown and the mandatory 8 count. Sluggish or no, long puncher or no. That Foreman is a terrific puncher. There goes Norton again against the ropes. Rondeau breaks them. Puts him back, but Norton is already rubbery-legged and hurt. And Foreman is... Oh! All right. Norton is down, and he doesn't really know where he's at. He's looking at his corner. No, he does know. He's just nodded that he can indeed get up. But look at him. He's in bad, bad shape. It's all over, apparently. Yes, it is. The fight went less than 2 rounds, just as the Frazier fight. I don't have the official time, but George Foreman is the stunning winner and still the heavyweight champion of the world. Call it no contest.
Early in 1974, it looked like no one could beat George Foreman.
The crowd in Munich was booing the marks of the previous skater, but Dorothy Hamill thought they were booing her as she took to the ice in the World Championships at age 17.
Dorothy Hamill was really shaken by it, and it looked to us like she was crying, and still is. It's a really tough break for the American girl trying for a world championship, and I would have to say a bad performance on the part of the crowd. Now, they were going to give her a rest period, but she said, no, I'm going to go out and do it, and I am going to do it now.
That's what it means by being an up and down girl. This girl is up when the pressure is on, and that's why she will probably now skate one of the best performances of her career. And a flying camel, and watch the ending. Watch as she drops from this back camel position, taps the ice and turns into a back sit spin in what is called a Hamill camel.
And as she finishes, just watch and listen to what happens.
There it is.
Well, Dorothy conquered the crowd and her own emotions and won the silver medal in the World Championships that year and the Olympic gold in 1976. In the 70s, the Cuba of Fidel Castro turned into something of a sports power, especially in boxing. Cuba won more medals than any other country at the World Championships. Their preeminent fighter Well, of course, that was the great Teofilo Stevenson. Yes, Teofilo Stevenson pounded his opponents throughout the 70s. He won 2 Olympic gold medals in that decade before adding a third in 1980. He wreaked devastation and often went untouched himself. The same, however, cannot be said of the pounding a few of our daredevils received in 1974 on Wide World of Sports. Here, Super Joe Einhorn takes his motorcycle for a leap. Howard Cosell and Evel Knievel were reporting.
Here he comes. Going, and here he comes. He's hitting the approach ramp right now. There he goes, up and over it, get it across. Look at that beautiful...
Beautiful jump. He did it. He did it. A great jump, Evel. You've got to give it to that kid.
He really did it, Howard, and he had a lot of pressure on him. You got to hand it to him, I'll tell you.
Ken Carter broke a record that to automobile daredevils was the equivalent, well, of a 56-game hitting streak.
He's coming around again. First man ever attempt to jump in a car 117 feet or the distance of 13 trucks. He done it again. He's going for it. And he makes it. Oh, he almost went off the ramp.
Debbie Lawler proved that courage isn't a province reserved strictly for males.
Debbie Lawler, 21 years old, 5 feet 2, 107 pounds. She'll be entering the Astrodome in Houston. Wow, flying. Well, Peter, here she comes. Is it right? She got it. It looks like she went just about 100 feet. Here it is in slow motion. The middle of the heart is 93 feet from the takeoff point. If she gets to the tip of the heart, it's almost 100 feet. She's past that with the front. It's just about 100 feet.
My name is Evel Knievel. I'm a professional daredevil.
The greatest daredevil of them all promised to cross the Snake River Canyon on a machine he called a sky cycle. It was an attempt doomed to failure, but certainly one of the happenings of the mid-1970s.
Looks like you're going to go into the canyon. You had a premature shoot. You have a good shoot on you. Come on. Stay with the vehicle. Stay with the vehicle. Put your visor up as you can.
The end of the flight of Evel. Luckily, he had landed in a bush instead of the water at the bottom of the canyon. Later, in London, he was not so lucky.
Oh, my God.
Although badly hurt, he insisted on walking out of the stadium that day, later recovered and jumped again.
Muhammad Ali used a spur-of-the-moment invention known as the rope-a-dope to defeat George Foreman and regain the heavyweight title. Later, he analyzed the win in our studio with Howard Cosell.
You can't see these punches that they hurt. They don't really show. Now, it was a left and a right, and a left and a right, but it didn't look hard, but it was pretty hard. It was on the back of the head, like on the side of the head. That was hard, and that was hard. Didn't look like it, and that was hard. That's hard. Now he's real tired now. He's gone down, but he's tired also. You got to remember, he's not only dazed or unconscious semi, but the man, he's breathing. The man is tired.
You did not hit him as he was going down.
No, I'd never try to do this. Some fighters do that, but I'd never do that.
The great Ali, only the second boxer in history to regain the heavyweight title. In 1975, Austrian Franz Klammer won 8 of 9 World Cup downhill races. The very next year, he kept up the pace with an electrifying win at the Olympic Games in Innsbruck.
And how's he doing on the course? Well, he had a bite on here. Looks to me that he might lost a little time. But as you know, he's really strong. And let's keep in mind that this phenomena from Austria, who has really come into the fore in the last 2 years, he was second in the World Championships in St. Moritz, is going after Jean-Claude Keely's record. Here he comes into the finish line now, 156 is trying to beat. And Franz Klammer has taken the lead over Frank of Italy, 155.78.
The pre-Olympic momentum of downhill specialist Franz Klammer. Acrobats from Chinese Taipei shed a little light on their rare talents and warmth on Wide World of Sports back in 1974.
Being blindfolded now is Shi Chen Hai. Now, on the other side, he's going to land in the arms of Ying Chao Su. Now, he's pacing it off on the left-hand side. He has 2 rings of daggers and a couple of fire rings there besides.
Those daggers are only 18 inches apart.
And Bud, I checked those blindfolds. This is no gimmick. The man cannot see a thing. Oh, are you kidding?
He's caught by Ying Jiao Su.
Now look, still. They're going to do a mount to a high hand-to-hand. Wow, what talent.
At the North American Boxing Championships, we caught an early glimpse of the surprising power of a young talent from Palmer Park, Maryland. His name, Sugar Ray Leonard.
Briere wanting to make that Canadian Olympic team, wanting to participate in the Olympics, because at 25, he probably won't have another chance. That hard left hook, he's gone. I doubt very much if he'll come back from that, because he threw it from left field. Leonard hit him right on the button. Well, they're going to let him go, but he really took a shot. Leonard hit him clean and brought it right down over the top. There's another one, there's another one. Now Leonard is punishing him. That's it. At 1:39 of the second round, a hard left hook by Ray Leonard on the button.
Leonard won a gold medal at 140 pounds the next year at the Montreal Olympics. He would become a very familiar face on Wide World of Sports. Some called the third Muhammad Ali-Joe Frazier heavyweight title fight the greatest bout in the history of the sport. Ali called it the thriller in Manila. Howard Cosell reports on the 14th and final round.
Less than a minute left in the 14th round, and Ali is giving it to him again. And Joe can't answer back. The swings are wild. Ali in total command. You see it there. It's repetitious now. The crowd sensing again, as they did in the 13th round, the kill. The noise tremendous. Ali careful, working the opponent over. Look at that. Left and then the right. Ali holding on. Padilla quickly on that left glove again. Less than 10 seconds in an overwhelming round for Muhammad Ali. But Frazier still on his feet. Still on his feet. Ali to his corner. Frazier to his corner. Ali tired, but clearly in command of this fight. Eddie Futch leaning over his fighter. Look at Frazier's eyes. Frazier saying no. First saying, I can't see. I can't see. That's what he told Eddie Futch. Futch over him. Futch doesn't want the fighter to go on, telling the referee. Joe Frazier is in his corner, on the stool. Look at Ali getting ready to go out. Now he realizes Frazier will not come out. Muhammad Ali is still the heavyweight champion of the world.
Joe Frazier, nearly blinded by the puffiness in his eyes, had to be convinced to quit. Ali, the champion, later said that that fight was the next thing to death. Neither fighter was ever quite the same after that fight, the thriller in Manila.
Okay, when they come by here, they will be on the 199th lap. 198 completed.
And it's as if a motor race was just starting all over again. The adrenaline's pumping right inside those motor cars. The driver is as excited now as he was before they asked, gentlemen, start your engine. And right now, both of them are thinking the same thing. Now, what does he choose to do? Does Richard Petty choose to lead going down the back straight on that last important lap? Or does he fall back and let David Pearson do it? Does he feel confident that that car, that Dodge, will take him all the way through turn 3 and 4 without being threatened by Pearson on the draft up to the dogleg finish? That's where confidence comes in, and we'll just have to wait and see.
Johnny Bruner Sr. Has always told the drivers, white flag is out, 1 lap to go, keep your eye on the rear vision mirror. He He said it's extremely important. I don't believe that you have to tell Richard Petty to keep his eyes in the rear vision mirror.
I reckon he's throwing it out the window right now. I don't think he's even interested. But there they go, and they're coming.
Everybody is standing here at the Daytona International Speedway. Look at David Pearson. He has moved closer. Can he do it?
He's going to pull out now. He's going to try for the
I
track.
don't know. He's down on the inside. He's even. He's got the lead, but there's a car ahead of him. There's a slower car ahead of him. And Richard Petty and Pearson go high. Pearson now has the lead. Petty tries to go back down on the inside. As they come out of the fourth turn, they only have about 750 yards to go. Oh! It's a main straightaway. They did hit. Petty smashes into the wall. Will he come across the start-finish line? He's going to win the race. He's going to win it spinning, as he, I believe, will take the checkered flag. No, he did not make it. He is less than 100 yards from it. Here comes Pearson. Pearson is going to try to make it across the finish line. Petty has his car going. Pearson's going to win it. Oh, gosh, Randall, he wins the race.
What a finish for a motor race. I've never seen anything like that.
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable, because here is Richard Petty, not more than maybe 150 feet from it.
He's got it started up, and he's crossed the finishing line as well.
He did it. He beat Benny Parsons across, so he gets second place.
Two of stock car racing's greatest names, Richard Petty and David Pearson, battling it out in one of the sport's greatest finishes. A gold medalist at the 1976 Olympics, Dorothy Hamill was now so popular her hairstyle was copied everywhere. Here she wins her first and only world championship.
30 seconds to go in her performance, Dick.
And if she can just hold this till the end, she will have this competition without a doubt. Split jump. She's loose. She's got a smile on her face. She's been with it since the moment she stepped on the ice. Two splits. Now watch this final flying camel. She's at the end of that program, and Chris, she's got it. Watch her drop down. A back move, a camel, tap the ice, a back sit spin, a move that she invented, and a final scratch spin. And that's it for Dorothy Hamill.
Like she did
right
in
there.
Innsbruck. Fulfilling an 11-year-old dream. Dorothy Hamill, USA.
And then Dorothy Hamill said goodbye in the same way that she said hello, enchanting us with her personality and performance. Tony Inauer, the Austrian ski jumper, was a hero in his homeland. In 1980, just 21 years old, he won the 70-meter gold medal at Lake Placid. Here in the aptly named sport of ski flying, he goes a few steps farther.
He's in the groove. He doesn't seem to be able to do anything wrong. And boy, oh boy, he smacks it. He's got a lot of height. He's starting to ride it out. He's going way down this hill again. He's going way to the bottom. I think that's as far as the other one at least. That's unbelievable.
Yes, Inauer's jump was unbelievable, measuring out to 176 meters. To put that in perspective, that's 196 yards, almost the length of 2 football fields. At New York's Madison Square Garden, 4 months before the Montreal Olympics, Nadia Comaneci recorded the first perfect 10 in international gymnastics competition. It wouldn't be her last.
Great eye contact. Here she goes, double back. Beautiful.
Wow.
Excellent. She does subtle movements that just take over the crowd. Here's her second tumbling run. Now watch the ending of this. Right to a straddle. A little of her own personality, her own style. Great balance. You wonder where she pulls all that strength from.
4 feet 11, 86 pounds.
Here's her last tumbling run. A double twist. Beautiful. Look at the height on that. Oh, great. She is, what can you say? She's just unbelievable.
14-year-old Nadia Comaneci of Romania. A perfect score. 10.0 for Nadia Comaneci. A perfect score.
The first time I've never seen anyone get a 10. And she deserved it. That's what's so incredible.
For the ladies at the 1977 World Figure Skating Championships in Tokyo, the difficulty lay in following Dorothy Hamill's extremely talented footsteps. But Linda Fradiani of Northridge, California, looked as if she had never heard of the word pressure.
Combination for double flip. Double toe loop. Nice on balance. With the exception of that one opening move, she has been literally on top of every move so far. Split jump. Split jump. Now, butterfly. Butterfly. And the final back zip spin. And that's it for Linda Fradiani.
Fradiani's dazzling performance earned her the gold medal and gave the United States its second consecutive ladies champion. Hamill's successor had made a name for herself. Wide World of Sports brought back some even bigger news from Japan. The breaking of baseball's all-time home run record by Sadaharu Oh of the Tokyo Giants. With this blast, Oh recorded number 756, breaking by one the mark set by Hank Aaron. The leading home run hitter in history will forever be remembered for that unique way in which he lifted his front leg as a pitch traveled toward home plate, just like Mel Ott. Sadaharu Oh and his magic number, 756. We televised Pelé's final game, a moment of emotion that ranks with the most moving we've seen.
Say with me 3 times. Lord. Lord. And Lord. Thank you very much. Muito obrigado.
Yes, love is what this day is about. The love of this man for a game and his love for the children of the world who play it. The love of hundreds of millions of people around the world for this warm and simple man who so obviously believes what he said. Join us as we say farewell to Pelé.
Pelé celebrated the day the way he knew best.
Pelé with a hard shot into the goal. A shot into the goal. Pelé has scored in his last half for the Cosmos. And this is what today is all about. The music is Auld Lang Syne, but it isn't New Year's Eve because there's no tomorrow in the career of Pelé. No New Year coming. Not as far as that playing career is concerned. But we said the story was about love today. And there it is. The love of the man for the people, the love of the people for the man, the kind of a hero we all want to see.
We first met George Willig when he was scaling New York's World Trade Center, which was his own idea. But the following year, it was our idea to send him to Angel's Landing in Zion National Park, Utah. Bill Fleming was reporting as the shocking moment occurred. George was very near the top, but suddenly he was very much in trouble.
Oh, my God. George, are you all right?
Yep.
You okay, George?
Yep.
You sure?
Yep.
Hang on for a second. Check yourself.
Don't even try to talk.
Just knocked the wind out of me.
Just hang there for a minute, George.
Yeah, I'm fine.
George Willig's near disaster some 1,400 feet above the base of Angel's Landing. After catching his breath, George Willig continued and finished the climb. Basketball's Harlem Globetrotters were formed in 1926. They've been appearing exclusively on Wide World of Sports since 1973. Year in and year out, the Globetrotters games generate some of our highest ratings. And once you've seen them in action, seen their special brand of magic, it's not too difficult to figure out why.
A new umpire.
What are you doing back there? I'm here, make one bad call. Come on. It'll be the last call.
He has 5 of his own. Delivery by Bobby Joe Mason, and it's out of here.
Speed on the bases. Speed on the bases, Meadowlark. Remember that, son. You missed second. Come back.
And it'll be close at home.
And what you see, honey, is what you get.
Did he make it?
It kind of looks that someone is going to get wet, Keith.
You want some water? I can't hear you. Mama, you want some water? No. Hey, Nate.
I think she's been here before.
Mama wants some water. Hey, Mama, pick up the bucket. Mom wants some water. No water here. Give me the water then. Give me the water.
Yeah, of course. I tell you.
I'm gonna get him.
Look at Nate.
Ain't no peace sign.
We showed a bit of our handicapping skills when we covered the debut of the highly touted 3-year-old thoroughbred Affirmed at Santa Anita Park. Affirmed, who in May of that year would begin an unsurpassed rivalry with Alydar. He beat Alydar in all 3 Triple Crown races ridden by 18-year-old Steve Cawthon. Today, Steve Cawthon rides on in England, the only jockey ever to win the Kentucky Derby and the English Derby. The combination of Cawthon and Affirmed disappointed no one at Santa Anita.
Affirmed has the lead by 7 lengths. It's Affirmed going easily in front. Affirmed with Steve Cawthon wins the 6th place here by some 4 lengths.
Greg Louganis is the leader in the competition by just a lot of points. He's really running away from the other divers. His final dive of forward, 1.5, 3 twist free.
Whoa, no question about who's going to win this contest. What a dive. Well, the people are standing and cheering. You know, it's fun to see it because it's such a good dive, and to have a guy like this represent us in international competition, incredible. He's so far away, better than anybody in the competition. It's just incredible. Look at this entry. No splash at all.
Louganis, of course, has since become the first man to win springboard and platform diving titles at successive Olympics. Howard Cosell was reporting when Muhammad Ali met Leon Spinks trying to regain his crown for the 3rd time.
But there is the left. And the left and right in combination. And Ali was in total control. Action is still in round 12. And Ali scoring frequently, and Spinks not at all.
Muhammad Ali, the first heavyweight in history to hold the title on 3 occasions. Mario Andretti had a superb season in 1978. He won both the International Race of Champions and the Grand Prix World Championships. But here, at the Grand Prix of Italy, in his native land, going for that World Championship, the success that was coming his way suddenly turned bittersweet.
Right here in the first row with Mario Andretti in the black car on the pole, number 5. Next to him is Villeneuve in car number 12. Villeneuve gets it on the start. The green light on. They are racing at Monza. Villeneuve, the Ferrari, has the lead. Andretti is second. Peterson is dropping back in the field as they head for that tunnel. There's an accident!
There's a big crash there. It looked like a car in the center of the field. It could have been a black car. It could have been Ronnie Peterson.
It's a bad one.
It's a big accident. These cars are full of fuel. The beginning of this, there's a driver. It looks like James Hunt running to the car that's burning there. He's running to that fire.
The word, Jackie, is it's Peterson. Peterson in the burning car. A number of other cars involved in it. We'll pick them up as we can. But that is bad. It's very bad. He's still in that car, and you can see, this is terrible.
They're finding the fire. They've got very quickly onto it. There's James Hunt. There's another driver. Patrick Depailler is in there.
They're getting him out of the car.
He's out the car now. Thank goodness for that. They're getting the fire under control. The car is Ronnie Peterson's car. The drivers themselves getting Ronnie out of the car. There's a lot of other cars involved here. There must be 7 or 8 cars cars involved. It looked very serious, a very high-speed accident. The car hit the barrier at a tremendous speed. There's the car of Brambilla down there, the orange-colored car. But that is Ronnie Peterson we're looking at. He's got leg injuries there, I'm afraid, as well as anything else.
No question, this is a very, very bad accident. Right on the start, just a few hundred yards, at the point where the race course narrows down from 25 meters to only 15 meters.
At first, the only news was that Ronnie Peterson had multiple injuries and had been badly burned at the start. But the next morning, Ronnie died. And so the victory for Mario Andretti that had been so long anticipated and so well earned now is greeted with extremely mixed emotions. At the World Gymnastics Championships, we met two rising American stars.
Double back. Boy, he's laying it in. Now watch this as Thomas Flair on the floor.
You think they're paying attention in Terre Haute, Indiana?
The crowd loves him. Listen to the reaction. My God, Jim, if this kid comes home with a gold medal...
That's what it looks like right now, unless there's a big mistake.
He needs to hit a double twister. That's all he needs. Now nail it. Kurt Thomas! Maybe a gold medal. All right, America, you got him.
Yes, Kurt Thomas won the gold. And so at the same championships in Strasbourg did Marcia Frederick of Connecticut. The quiet teenager won the first American gold in women's competition with this performance on the uneven bars. Ty Babyloni and Randy Gardner won the U.S. Pairs Figure Skating Championships of 1979, then moved to Vienna looking for a world title.
A combination side-by-side jumps, first splits, half loops, turn, double salk out, and a final move, their death spiral. If they don't...
This could be a little sporting history. The end of their program.
Here it is, a death spiral. He has only enough to go off the edge, or she too. And there it is. It is it.
Ty Babyloni and Randy Gardner. Again, the pairs championship started in 1908. Only one American pair has ever won the world championship. The Kennedys in 1950. And now supported by a big crowd of Americans here. Ty and Randy may have done it. They sure look like they think they've done it.
They did it all right. Ty and Randy, the first Americans in 29 years to win a pairs figure skating gold medal at the World Championship. Well, what can we say about a decade that featured Ali and Evel Knievel, Alexeyev, Pele, Sadaharu Oh, and Dorothy Hamill? Well, that it was a decade in sports that mirrored the world around us in the 70s. And we were fortunate and proud to have those incredible moments on ABC's Wide World of Sports. We grew, of course, and our events grew, but we remained committed to the human being and his or her struggle for achievement and sometimes even greatness. I hope you enjoyed this second volume of our 3-cassette package documenting what's perhaps the greatest success story in television sports, ABC's Wide World of Sports. By the way, don't forget all the excitement and thrills of the 1960s and 1980s. They're also available, so don't miss them. In the meantime, thanks for watching. I'm Jim McKay, and I hope I'll see you soon somewhere in this wide world of sports.